Band is this?
Everybody poops sometimes.
Give us the smother.
Wake up, sweetness.
Your first time should be more than special.
I'm in, Savannah said. Good Lord, Gemma.
When a man and a woman, in this case, really love each other, what happens is they fuck.
Ooh, hello?
Oh, dang it, I lost my fish. This next word almost sounds like Quidditch. Quidditch milade Diana Agosiagath an Fiedian. As much as I love fucking you, sweetness. We stared into each other's eyes whilst I moaned in ecstasy. Having consumed half of the bourbon, I keep saying bourbon. You know, every time I mess up on a word, Stunt Mama just shows up.
She had her seductive smile on her lips.
I said we couldn't have sex. I didn't say anything about everything else. Ew. Happy to help. Biatch. You are the spark of light and the vastness of my night. His note, like a finality to a beautiful, breathtaking song. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good to see you. Amlas, redeeming first place. Good job. Stepmama's mama getting almost first. Also known as second. And Mad Locust is here. Hi. How's the microphone sounding, by the way? Do I sound okay? Or do I sound like a robot? We sound good? Great. Fantastic. You started reading Magical Tree today. So far, so good. Awesome. And your copy came in today? That's amazing. Whew. I'm excited. Believe it or not, I am one of those human beings where sometimes other people's opinions matter. As crazy as that sounds, it's true. All right. Well, I was almost late getting to stream tonight because we've been an ad already. No, we're snoozing you. On Thursdays, my in-laws are here. They pick up the kiddo from school. They bring him home. And, lately, a lot of our conversation has been revolving around this house that we're building and different questions. And we ended up getting our realtor on the phone and talking about everything. So yeah, it's a bit crazy. The only thing that I find interesting is the way the font is in the book. Everything is centered. Yeah. So the weird thing when you self-publish is you have to do it all yourself. So knowing it was a kid's book, I just wanted to try and make everything as simple and as easy as I could. I didn't realize it was going to center everything, though. I may change that at some point, but we'll see. It's every time you upload a manuscript that has images in it, it is a pain in the process. It's such a painful process to try and get those to line up properly. What I have in my document isn't what printed because things don't line up correctly. So I have to like manipulate stuff in the document to then make the printable version, you know, make sense. It's such a... The KDP process could be better. Let's just say that much. It could be way nicer. But you like the pictures? You love the pictures in the book? Great. I didn't draw them. I had some generated help. Let's just say that. That makes sense. Yeah, pics mess everything up. They really do. I sat here for I don't know how long, just trying my hardest to get them to make sense. It was ridiculous. So... What? You didn't draw them? What? I know. It's crazy. Does your son like the book? Yes, he does. He's read it through at least once. He actually took it to school with him because he has an after-school program. He was reading it there, and as I was walking into the building to pick him up, he was talking to his friend about the book, and I caught the very end of the conversation, and he's like, yeah, my dad wrote it. And the kid was like, your dad wrote that? And I just tried not to, I pretended like I didn't hear it, just to let them have their moment together. But it was cute. It was cute. He was very proud, so that makes me proud at the same time. Yeah. So yeah, I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed. Just get rid of these notifications. We don't need those. You are his rock star? I hope so. I think that's every dad's dream, right? Every parent's dream, for that matter. To be the rock star for your kids. This is your puzzle for tonight, by the way. Tig. Hi, Tiggums. Tiggly Wiggly. How are you, my dear? It's good to see you. But yeah, he loves the book, so. And yeah, you should be in bed. Are you having problems sleeping, Tiggs? I would have liked to have slept a little bit more today. That would have been great. Oh, you can't tell me off. I am in bed, but you're on your phone. You do you, okay? I've been there. You do you. I can't say I haven't done it, because I have. I've got my book, I've got my tea, and I've got a pill that I need to take. And we have an ad starting in just under a minute. So we're going to let that ad go through, and then we'll start reading. That is assuming the ad even plays. Last time, the ad didn't even happen, so... Oh good, Atkinson will get you to fall asleep. He has a soothing voice. That is my goal. That is my goal. So yeah, for any of the non-subbed out there, you'll have to let me know in 30 seconds if ads actually play. We'll see. Oh, that was hot. Okay. Oh, that pill was gross. Alright, so technically there should be ads playing right now. But if you're not subbed and you can still see me and hear me, then winner winner. Add a card. How you doing? Should you take a pill with hot liquids? Yeah, probably not, but here I am. doing the thing. Okay, does anyone see ads right now that is not subbed? So far I can, but there was a delay last time. Okay. Got it. You had ads when you popped in. Okay. I don't understand Twitch. I really don't. Yeah, see now it says that the ads... I'm so confused. Now it's telling me that there's ads happen. So, okay, so now you have ads. Okay, Amlas is done already. It still says there's a minute and 30 some seconds left. I don't understand. It does this all the time. Their ad program stinks. Okay, so Take has an ad. A little pop-up. A short one. It's so unreliable. I'm gonna have to like message them or something because I can't figure out what is and isn't real or true. I mean, like, it's telling me there's an ad break in progress, but none of you have ads. So does that mean all of you don't, or some of you do and some of you don't? I don't know. Like, how am I supposed to work with this? It is so frustrating. Or yeah, or you have like a 2-second, even I've had that in other people's streams. I'll be sitting there, ads will show up, and then 5 seconds later I'm back in the stream. Happens all the time. It's so dumb. But then I've had other streams where the ads will go for a full 3 minutes or whatever, and that's it. Anyway, whatever. We're almost there. And now it says the ads are back. Or the ads are done and we're back. I had an ad pop up and within a second I was back to the stream. Bizarre. No yawning, please. I need to go work out. I don't know why I yawn when I get on stream. It doesn't make any sense. I haven't yawned all day. This book, by the way, is what we're reading next. This book is written by another streamer. She's got a few books out, but this is the one she recommended. And I've already made a new starting soon screen for it. You know, a new starting soon video, as I do. I don't know if there's any spice to it. I forgot to ask. Or if she told me, I don't remember the answer. Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe. Maybe not. I guess we'll just have to find out. But in the meantime... I'm not yawning. We're on page 151 of our book. Our current book. This book is like 290 some pages, so we're a tiny bit over halfway. Like 52% of the book read already. Chapter 18 is where we're starting. And it's called Life's a Bowl of Cherry Pits. Yeah. Life's a Bowl of Cherry Pits. P-I-T-S. I don't know what that's going to mean for the story, but we're going to find out. Okay. With that being said, thank you for the lurk, Adicard. Sit back, relax, and I will read you a story. On my way out Monday morning, I knock on Jules's door. He answers in his robe. He looks tired. The loose folds under his eyes are darker and puffier than usual. Irma Bombeck wrote a book called If Life's a Bowl of Cherries, What Am I Doing with the Pits? Maybe there's a correlation in that book with this. Who knows? You'll have to tell me. I didn't yawn. Although I do think I need a yawn counter. Let's see. Under his eyes are darker and puffier than usual. Billy, I'm fine. Go save the world for the rest of us. Why did that sound Irish? I don't know. I'll try, Jules, but I make no promises. His lips curl in a mischievous smile. Then try harder. Why am I sounding Irish all of a sudden? Yes, sir, Sergeant Somers. My next stop is Sully's for a cup of his dark roast brew. When I arrive at the office, Hank is the only one there. Where is everyone, Hank? Jade is in the ladies, powdering her lovely nose. Wilson's in his office, trimming his fingernails. Gustav and Victor are off on their latest assignments for Chernov. Leaning over his desk, I whisper, if your theory about those two is correct, someone's going to end up dead. Stay tuned, Billy. News at 11. Wilson sticks his head out of his office door. Billy, a moment, please. Yes, Lieutenant, coming. He closes his door and invites me to sit when I enter his office. About that business with Jules. Thanks for having the presence of mind to call the office and connect with Jade. They won't be bothering him again. I saw to that. He's pretty distraught over the whole affair, Lieutenant. Jules is like family to me. I'd appreciate you keeping an eye on him. Yes, I will. Okay then. No more to talk about. The next 3 days are quiet. With no firm leads coming from Chernov's office, there are no imminent raids, for which I'm grateful. I have no desire to witness or participate in the execution of anyone beyond what I did to that creep who took my wife from me. Why we're even briefed before a raid is a mystery, since all that's necessary is to point us in the right direction. We show up, shoot a few people, and we're done. Wilson said we have a 5th guy coming. I suggest we make him the designated executioner. My contribution to streamlining the operation. On the brighter side, flirting with Jade has become an enjoyable pastime. Now and again, she graces me with a smile, which only encourages me. I ask her again to join me for that cup of coffee outside the office after hours, but she offers the same excuse. She has to feed her damn cat. Well, Miss Miro, until you tell me to screw off, I remain your ardent pursuer. To ease the boredom, Hank and I patrol the streets. It's a waste of time unless, God forbid, Hank drags me into another alley shootout. During this joyride, we spotted a couple of small-time street deals going down. Hank tosses up a hand and scoffs. Let the PWF deal with them. That's not what you said when we came across that alley, Hank. It could have gotten us both ventilated with a couple of well-placed shots. But it didn't. But it could have. But it didn't, Billy. Get over it. Thursday morning, Gustav and Victor are back from wherever they've been. Not a word out of either regarding their cryptic travels. Neither Hank and I neither Hank nor I dare ask. That evening, Hank and I have dinner at a Mexican joint around the corner from the office on Athens Street. Hank leans in and whispers, "A member of the South African Parliament who made a speech a couple of weeks ago condemning the regime was shot and killed at his Johannesburg home 2 days ago. The government said it was a burglary gone wrong. Gustav and Victor were gone long enough to have assassinated him and be back here this morning." I whisper back, "And if we could prove that, what do you do about it?" "Absolutely nothing, Billy, if we know what's good for us. Hear no evil, see no evil, click our heels and follow orders like the brainwashed executioners we are. If we know what's good for us, yeah." Hank offers me a lift home. I decline. As I walk along Broadway, the sun is kissing the far western horizon in a spectacular orange, blue, and purple array, courtesy of the diffusing smog. 2 side-by-side drones sweep low over the middle of Broadway. Smile for the camera, Billy. Why the thugs in Marseille and the vast WPF network feel they have to be constantly watching us is beyond me. 3 homeless souls approach with outstretched hands, begging for a handout. As soon as they spot my gun and badge, they slink away. Bleeding heart that I am, I wish there were something I could do. As I near the grocery and clothing stores, I'm alerted to loud voices coming from the alley. Whoever's talking sounds angry. "Keep walking, Billy. Don't stick your nose in." A voice in the alley groans loudly, then a second time. Oh, damn it. I have to investigate. I rest my right hand on my gun and enter the alley and make out 3 figures halfway down. 2 white guys are standing over a black man face down on his stomach. Jesus, they're taking turns kicking him. Taking out my weapon, I move further in. "Hey, what's going on back there?" I might as well have been talking to myself. They ignore me. "Are you hard of hearing?" I asked what was going on. Now I have their attention. One of them yells, "Who the hell are you?" "A cop, that's who." The man on the ground lifts his head in my direction. "Oh, thank God, mister. They were going to kill me." He begins to push himself up. One of the men places a foot on the back of his neck and pushes him flat again. "Don't move, black muscle boy." Now the other guy is moving in my direction. I raise my weapon a few inches higher. "Stay where you are. Show me some identification." "Hey, Flatfoot, why do you care what happens to this piece of shit?" "The same way I'd care if the situation were reversed." He laughs. It's more of a cackle. "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what we have here is a white-ass liberal cop. Show me some identification or this bleeding heart cop will haul you into the station down the street." "Okay, Mr. Policeman, you win this time. Keep up the good work now, you hear?" Before I can react, both men are racing to the far end of the alley and disappear around the corner. "Hey, mister, are you alright?" My ribs hurt like hell, man." Stashing my gun in my holster, I help him to his feet. Jesus, he's just a kid. Maybe in his mid-20s. "You know those 2? "Yeah, I've seen them pricks around. They belong to a South Boston white boys gang that goes around harassing people like me." "You know where we might find them?" "They're everywhere, man. You can't miss them." "Maybe we should have your ribs checked." No, I'll be okay." "Say, man, you got anything to eat? I haven't had anything since yesterday morning. Hardly enough to keep me alive." I'm sorry, I don't. There's a store out there. You could buy me something. My first reaction is to help him. But if I said yes to every lost soul I pass on these streets, I'd go broke. No, I can't do that. Why in the hell not? His eyes narrow. His look turns belligerent. Taking a step closer, he wraps a hand around my left wrist and squeezes. Take your hand off me. But he doesn't. He squeezes harder. What's a little food to you, Mr. Policeman? I won't tell you again. Take your hand off me. With a twisted grin, he pumps his finger on my arm. What are you gonna do? Shoot me with that big gun, white boy? Come on, buy me a sandwich. That's all I'm asking, one lousy sandwich. Righto, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. I brush his hand away. Back off. Something to eat, that's all, man. The fool makes the mistake of grabbing my arm again. Maybe it was the fresh memories of violent inmates on Europa picking fights at the drop of a hat. Maybe this kid on this day is pushing me one step too far. In one swift motion, I whack him upside the head with a tight right fist. He howls and goes down. Why'd you do that, man? Why? The hell with you, man. The hell with you. I told you to stop, didn't I, kid? Come on. Let me help you up. As I reach down to help him, he slaps my hand away and spits in my face. Now I'm thoroughly pissed. In an instant, my slow burn turns into a rage. Dropping to his side, I whack him across the face with an open hand. He gets off a quick punch that grazes my left side of my face. What the hell's wrong with you, kid? Stop it. For the second time since my closest incident, I give in to an uncontrollable rage. My left hand goes to his throat and I squeeze hard. With my right hand, I pummel his face until I draw blood. Jesus, what am I doing? Breathing hard, I fall back on my butt, staring in frightened disbelief at the kid's bleeding face. I'm sorry, kid. Reaching into my hip pocket, I fetch my handkerchief. Here, put this to your face. He takes the handkerchief and presses it to his bloody face. Tears come to his eyes. I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't have pushed you like that. It's okay, kid. We were both wrong. They don't treat us like humans, man. We're nothing to them, you know? Nothing. We're just disposable numbers. I understand. Look, you should have your face looked at. No. I'll be okay, man. You're sure? Yeah. I'm sorry for what I did, Officer Russell. And you? Vance. Say, you got a cigarette? Yeah, sure. I give him one of the last that Jules gave me and hand it to him along with my lighter. Come on, I'll help you up. No, I'm gonna sit here and smoke this cigarette. Okay, but don't be sitting here too long. Those guys might come back. God almighty, what possessed me to lose it like that? Time to get my ass home and off the streets. Get yourself to a walk-in clinic and have those ribs checked. Yeah, maybe I will. Thanks. I back away and leave him sitting there. Stopping briefly under the corner light by Sully's, I examine my right hand. My knuckles are bloody and swollen. Should be fun explaining that at the office tomorrow. I continue on to the house, but I'm 30 or so feet from the front door when I hear someone call out my name. Mr. Russell? Jesus, is there a full moon? What now? Across the street, someone's waving to me from the open driver's window of a shiny new black Lexus. The driver's door swings open. A man slips out and is coming toward me at a slow pace, like he's trying to look non-threatening. Whoa, he's a big one. Over 6 feet, broad shoulders, and maybe a good 250 pounds. Is this guy Jules said identified himself as the parole officer? Now a second guy is exiting from the front passenger seat. Instinctively, my right hand goes to my Smith & Wesson. The big one's within 10 feet from me now. I can make out his round and beefy face, and he's smiling, trying to look his friendly best. A Mr. Russell? Do I know you? My name is Norman. I don't know any Norman. His right hand is rising. A glint of steel flashes. Cripes, he's got a gun. Who the hell are these guys? With your index finger and thumb, please remove your weapon and place it at your feet. Do as I ask, Mr. Russell, and no harm will come to you. I have nothing of value if that's what you're after. Please, your weapon, sir. I'm a police officer. I'm quite aware of that. Now, please remove your weapon. My grip on the Smith & Wesson tightens. I hesitate. A shootout on this darkened street would be suicide for one or both of us. And there's that other one. I have to assume he's armed too. Live another day, Billy. Do what the man tells you. Removing my gun, I place it at my feet. Please, step back, Mr. Russell. As this Norman guy swoops up my weapon and slips it into his belt, the other guy comes around the Lexus. Thank you. Now, please walk to the vehicle. Look, Norman. He raises his gun a few inches. Please, Mr. Russell. Okay. Stop pointing that damn gun at me. I get a better look at the second guy as I approach the Lexus. He's short and skinny with a thin face. Reminds me of Harvey. That shot the GPS in my arm. Only this guy is shorter. His eyes are behind thick, dark-rimmed, black-framed glasses. In his right hand, he's holding up something black. Please, place this hood over your head. A hood? What for? Norman places his hand on my shoulder. We mean you no harm, Mr. Russell. Please, put the hood on. Look, whoever you are, you must have me mixed up with someone else. No, sir. Do as we ask, and we'll be on our way. The skinny one hands me the hood. I balk. I'm not putting that on. Don't make this difficult, Mr. Russell. Who, me? Norman? Difficult? Never. Easy, Billy boy, you're not holding the cards here. Do as the man says before this goes badly for you. I slip the hood over my head. It's lights out for me. I assume it's Mr. Skinny taking my arm. Turn around and place your hands behind your back. The damn fool handcuffs me. How about ankle chains too? I'll guide you into the back seat, sir. Watch your head. The interior of the car smells like new leather. How many miles you got on this beauty? Neither of these deadheads answers my attempt to lighten things up. Slide over, sir. Mr. Skinny slips in next to me, and we're off, and I'm thoroughly confused and pissed off. We've been traveling for about 20 minutes, with 5 stops along the way. I'm guessing for traffic lights. When we stop a 6th time, Norman turns off the engine. Mr. Skinny places a hand on my arm. I'll guide you out, Mr. Russell. You two get an A+ for politeness. How about one of you tell me what this is about? No answer from either. Not that I expected one, but it was worth a try. Mr. Skinny helps me out. With his hand securely gripping my left arm, I count a dozen steps before we stop. A door is unlocked, and when it opens, a musty odor assaults my nose. Can't afford the high rent district? I beg your pardon, sir. Forget it, Norman. As we enter the building, I begin counting steps on what sounds like a wooden floor. 24 steps before we make a left turn. Another 10 steps and we make a hard right. A few steps further, I'm eased into a chair. I hear footsteps. Someone else has joined the party. The hood's removed. A bright light hits me hard in the eyes, and with my hands cuffed, I can't shield them. I blink several times. Beyond the light, I can make out a figure standing next to a chair. The light's too damn bright. I can't make out a face. Thank you for coming, Mr. Russell. My name's Gideon. Whoever's back there speaks with a pronounced British accent. Yeah? At gunpoint with a hood over my head. My apologies. I assure you, you're in no danger. I'll take your word for that. It's late, and I'm tired. Get to the point. Well, that came out sounding like one of my better threats. This is not the time to be a smartass, Billy boy. In case you hadn't noticed, there are now 3 of them and 1 of you. What's with the light? It's blinding me. A few seconds of silence follows. Well? Norman, turn it off, please. Are you sure, sir? Yes, Norman. Turn it off. But, sir, Norman, please turn off the light. I twist in the chair. While Norman's at it, these cuffs are cutting into my wrists. The cuffs as well, Norman. Well, that was easy. If points were given for pointlessness, all 3 of these clowns win hands down. Norman removes the handcuffs and turns off the light. The room goes dark until the skinny one switches on an overhead fluorescent. We're in a small stockroom. Unmarked cardboard boxes are piled high along the back wall. The Gideon character is decked out in an expensive-looking gray pinstripe suit, matching vest, off-white shirt, 2-tone blue striped tie, and a full head of white hair neatly combed to the last strand. He looks to be in his 60s and smells of money. Your right hand, Mr. Russell. It has blood on it. I caught it in a door leaving the office. Gideon eyes me suspiciously. Norman, can we find something to wrap Mr. Russell's hand? Maybe in the restroom, sir. Norman disappears to wherever the restroom is and returns with a tan washcloth. I soaked it in cold water. It should help. Wrapping the washcloth around my hand feels good on my swollen knuckles. Would you like anything, Mr. Russell? Water, perhaps? A cappuccino would be nice, Mr. Gideon. The stoic-looking Gideon raises an eyebrow, a signal he doesn't appreciate my tepid attempt at humor. Now he's pacing 5 steps one way, 5 steps back. I steal a look over my shoulder at Norman. He pays me no attention. His eyes remain locked on Gideon like a well-trained service dog. Gideon stops pacing and lowers himself to the chair and stares. I know when someone's sizing me up, and he's sizing me up. If you see anything you like, If you see anything you like, let me know. You're quite direct, Mr. Russell. That's me, Mr. Direct. He stares for a few seconds more. I stare back. Are you settled in? What? Have you experienced difficulty assimilating since your return? My return from where? Why, Europa, of course. How the hell could he possibly know that? Where did you get that information? We are not without resources, Mr. Russell. Apparently not. Look, Mr. Gideon. Please, just Gideon. You know nothing about me, Gideon. On the contrary, we know all there is to know. Your DEA record in Providence was quite exemplary. You were on the fast track to becoming a section supervisor until your wife's tragic death, followed by that regrettable incident in that closet. Dear Mother of God, who is this guy? How the hell does he know what he knows? First of all, let's be clear. I have no regrets about what happened in that closet. Second, I have no idea what that or anything else has to do with you. I just left one hell behind. I'm not looking to enter another. So whatever you're selling, I'm not buying. You're still in hell, Mr. Russell. Just in a different location. There's a snappy but less than happy thought. Gideon stands, slips a hand into his breast pocket, and out comes a long, fat cigar. Pinching off the end, he rolls the tip over his lighter flame until it glows red. Oh, forgive me. Would you care for one, Mr. Russell? Can we skip the niceties and just cut to the chase? Yes, of course. Cut to the chase, as you Americans are fond of saying. We are also fond of saying screw you and the horse you rode in on. How about you react to that, Gideon? Now then, to the point. We live within the comfortable bubbles we create for ourselves, which distracts us from doing what is right. Would you agree, Mr. Russell? I went to college to study law enforcement. I leave the deep thinking to philosophers. This time, history and philosophers will record how we came together to end this evil government totalitarianism. I can read. Totalitarianism, brutality, and inhumanity. I wish you the very best in that effort. What does it have to do with me? It has to do with every man, woman, and child on the face of the earth, if there is ever again to be a free and democratic society. I'll assume you have a plan, Gideon, but whatever it is, it's a fool's errand since this world government commands the military forces on the planet. I wait for him to share more intimate details of just how they hope to accomplish their lofty goal, but he doesn't. He plows on with his speech. Following the Pakistan-India event, all of society was gripped by fear. Like never before, it exposed humanity's deep-rooted hatred and intolerance of one another, which made it possible for the PPP to offer a lifeline that people latched onto before they realized what was behind the curtain. By then, it was too late. Thanks to Jules, I have a pretty good idea of how sucked in people were. Over time, there have been many observers who have examined political populism. One of them was author Robert Penn Warren. In 1946, he released his novel titled All the King's Men. By chance, have you had an opportunity to read it? As a matter of fact, Gideon, I have. Then you know Mr. Warren painted a vivid picture of populist leader and those he led. As you will recall, the novel's main character is modeled on the life and political career of Huey Long, the infamous Louisiana governor and U.S. Senator. Even though it was a novel, we should have learned from it. All too often, fiction mirrors life, in this case, the scoundrels behind the People's Populist Party. They are the well-heeled aristocracy, major corporations, banks, and elected officials looking to ensure the continuation of the wealth and power they enjoy. Their worldview, as warped as it is, calls for reshaping society to service them. It is not new, just a reinvention of what has always been. Why the masses did not see through that this time is another one of life's mysteries. Hi, Ashball. How you doing? Forgive me for interrupting, Gideon, but long before I left, we were all skating on thin ice within a morally bankrupt system. When we close our eyes to political malfeasance, I can read, we relinquish our rights. So, plain and simple, Gideon, we blew it and have no one to blame but ourselves. Last I heard, we're still the most intelligent species on the planet. Short of natural disasters, that makes us responsible for everything that happens to us and the planet. Well said, Mr. Russell. I try. Why the hell am I debating this guy? And why is he being so open with someone he just met? And yet, all is not lost, Mr. Russell. The people put this government in power, and they can remove it. Good luck with that, sir. Underestimating the resolve of the people when their backs are against the wall would be a grave mistake, Mr. Russell. Why do I get the feeling this guy is the leader of the anti-world group thing? If the past is your touchstone for what people will or will not do, you're betting on a loser. Not this time. Not this time. Be assured our movement will remove this oppressive den of thieves and cowards who use thuggery to achieve their vainglorious goals. Impressive words, but I don't trust the vast majority to get together on much of anything, let alone the overthrow of this government. Gideon takes a deep drag of his cigar and blows perfect smoke circles. Jules would love this guy. Are you familiar with volte-face, Mr. Russell? Can't say that I am. It is French, meaning a reversal in policy, a change in direction, a rather benign moniker for a Byzantine task that will end the pestilence of tyranny by those who hold an entire civilization hostage. We will purge this latest anguish in Herba from the face of the earth. The what? Letet anguis in Herba, Roman for snakes in the grass. I failed Italian class. Or was it Latin? I forget. He ignores my acribic remark and plows on. Allow me an abridged version of what occurred during your forced absence. Save your breath, Gideon. Jules gave me an abridged version on our dreadful state of affairs. His version was enough to depress me for a lifetime. I would rather we get to why I'm here. He ignores me. He's pacing again. I've listened to enough of his bullshit. This one-sided grabfest is over. Norman, be a good man and take me home. Norman's baseball-sized mitt left hand is on my shoulder, pressing me down. Please remain seated until Gideon has finished. Are you threatening me, Norman? No. Mr. Russell is advising. Since Norman's bigger than me by a third again, I don't challenge him. Gideon moves on as if nothing happened. Pakistan's evil attack on India was humanity's red line in the sand. A spiritual awakening, at least for those capable of comprehending the ramifications of such an evil act. But as always, we resorted to praying, hoping the Almighty would take pity on us, and we should have found the courage to do something about it ourselves. Imagine if we had stepped back long enough and examined the PPP's populist pie-in-the-sky solutions. We might have concluded that these snake oil salesmen's true goals were world domination, greater personal profits, and preserving the white race as the master of all races. Super. What's up, dude? Save your breath. I know the rest. I shift in my chair. Norman thinks I'm getting up again and places his left claw on my shoulder. There is a French billionaire who played a critical role in the PPP becoming a world political party. He, and other like-minded men, cleverly captured the masses' desperation, acrimony, and bigotry. Jean Lumière Leront, president and controlling shareholder of Max Minerai, was the name. Max Minerai stops me cold. Gideon sees my expression of surprise. Yes, Mr. Russell, Jean Lumière Leront, your former employer and jailer. Holy Christ. The PPP began in this country because Laurent and his henchmen knew Americans were vulnerable and easily swayed by misleading politicians. It's happened before. From the beginning, the intent was to establish a world government, one that became a reality. Laurent was promptly proclaimed president for life, not by a public election, but by the unanimous proclamation of his hand-picked World Council. The elites had taken over the world without firing a shot. Mr. Laurent is known as the Shadow President because he never appears in public, unless it is pre-recorded. More often than not, his henchmen do all the public speaking for him. Why is that? He is a private man to the extreme. Forgive me if I'm not impressed, Gideon. I've always lived by what my father drilled into me. If a man or woman amass great wealth and power, it does not make them smart or moral. Just someone who tapped into a niche that made them wealthy and powerful. I've never understood what makes a person believe they're any better than others of their wealth and leverage over others. But hey, that's just me. Gideon's lips curl into a slight grin, like maybe he knows stuff I don't. He inhales his cigar deeply, savoring the carcinogens that one day will curse him and the rest of us smokers with the lung disease that did in poor Leon Grover. Do you know who Commissioner Henry Dion is? I heard his name on the news. Sounds like he's out of favor with the Marseille gang. Once a successful Boston trial attorney and political activist, Henry was an early supporter of the PPP. All else had failed, he reasoned, so why not try something new? He ran for the United States Senate of the populist ticket and won. When the PPP morphed into a world party and put forth the idea of a world government and won, Henry supported it and was rewarded with a seat on the newly created World Council. It sounds like Mr. Dion was as naive as all the others. Yes, he fell for it, at least for a time. When Laurent was proclaimed president for life, Henry realized he had made a terrible mistake. That President Laurent and his minions were nothing more than autocratic, megalomaniac corporate charlatans playing a human chess game to satisfy their narcissistic appetites. He realized there was no way to defeat them through a public campaign, so he began organizing the Volte-Face in a secret. Today, millions stand ready to cut off the head of the snake. What will they fight with? Sticks? Ball bats? Pitchforks? A smile crosses Gideon's lips as if he knows what I don't. Are you familiar with the term Black Swan event? Can't say I am. It is a metaphor describing an incident that leaves an indelible mark on society. Although the PPP is guilty of many, it only makes one Black Swan event to crumble their fragile house of cards. With the help of others, Henry has uncovered that one event, an abominable sin against humanity that the public remains unaware of. Gideon looks away and goes silent. His thoughts seem to have slipped elsewhere. I can't say this hasn't been fun, Gideon. Even the high point of my evening. But you still haven't told me why I'm here. This guy may know all about my past, but for the love of me, I can't understand why he's revealing all this to me. During a televised event, Henry will reveal all he has learned to the world. While that telecast is in progress, he and others will require sentinels for a short period while. Finally, Gideon, there it is. I qualify for your SWAT team because I took a man's life in a closet and now work for an outfit that executes drug lords and their underlings. I wish you great success with the Volte-Face thing. But I'm just a dumb cop with a GPS tracker embedded in my left forearm and strapped to a job I didn't seek. And I'm looking to get out of. Perhaps this is your way out, Mr. Russell. So, I should cast my lot with you on the outside chance it could benefit me somehow? Give me a break. He takes 2 quick steps forward and points a finger. Do not tell me you were jumping for joy with that greeted you upon return. Do not tell me you were not appalled by the brutal beating of a handcuffed man on your first day. Do not tell me you applaud the killing of the drug dealer you and Officer Drummond confronted in that alley, or the cold-blooded execution of 5 men and a woman cremated in a burning warehouse. Because if you do, Mr. Russell, I will have no choice but to label you a liar. Christ, where in the hell does this man get his information? Have you considered that I'll turn you and this Volte-Face thing over to the authorities if I get out of here? And for that reason, Mr. Russell, to gain favor with the government that threatens to send you back to prison if you refuse to participate in their cold-blooded executions. You think you know me, but you don't, Gideon. I know enough to trust that you are a decent and moral man. Considering the circumstances, some might even forgive you for your crime of passion. Tell that to the jury who convicted me. Do you know who George Orwell was, Mr. Russell? I'm not illiterate. I read 1984. In his insightful novel... Oh, hello, Stunt Papa. Good to see you. Mr. Orwell wrote, "For if leisure and security were enjoyed by all alike, the greater mass of human beings who are normally stupefied by poverty would become literate and would learn to think for themselves. And when once they had done this, they would sooner or later realize that the privileged minority had no function, and they would sweep it away. In the long run, a hierarchical society was only possible on a basis of poverty and ignorance." Bravo, Gideon. As for me, I don't expect the human race to come to their senses anytime soon, nor do I have a burning desire to participate in some political movement that's doomed to failure before it gets off the ground. You're wrong, Mr. Russell. The Volte-Face movement will define humankind from this moment on. We will sweep away this government and create a democratic society that spans the globe. Gideon backs away from me a couple of feet, turns and strolls back to his chair and sits. I've taken far too much of your time, Mr. Russell. If you decide not to join us, I will respect your decision. I ask only that you not reveal to anyone what was discussed here. I find it surprising that you trust that I won't. Norman will provide you with a phone number. What am I supposed to do with it? We hope you will offer your assistance once you have searched your soul. If you do, identify yourself only as 556. At that time, further instructions will be provided. Damn, he even knows 556 was my call sign on Europa. I smile at the irony. Thank you for coming, Mr. Russell. Gideon is up on his feet. In a swirl of cigar smoke, he abruptly exits. Norman hands me a slip of paper. Without looking at it, I stuff it in my shirt pocket. We'll take you home now, Mr. Russell. I glance at the skinny guy with a blank page for a face. Norman, does your friend here have a name? It's Jason. Jason, do I get to wear the hood again? I'm afraid so, sir. Do I get to keep it? If you like, Mr. Russell. I have others. Ah, you brought more. A 6-pack, actually. At least Jason has a sense of humor. Score 1 for him. Now I need to work on Norman. And that's chapter 18. Who knew I'd be in the book? That's amazing. Stunt Papa, did you tell Stunt Mama there's a puzzle? I'm sure she would like to know. So we finally met the leader, or one of the leaders, maybe, with this, anti-world police group. I had been curious when they would come into the picture officially. absolutely delicious. So I guess the question is, what is Billy going to do about it? Is he going to carry on with the status quo, hoping to just get by so he doesn't go back to jail? Or is he going to jump in? You think he might help? Billy will link up with the group? Yeah, I imagine he will. But I am curious, based on... because we're on page 169. We've got about 130 pages left. This almost feels like it's a part one of what could be a bigger thing. But there was no indication that this was a two-part story. Or two-part book, or whatever. I'm actually going to double check. Wait, that's not the right book. Gosh darn it. How did I mess that up? That's the wrong book. Let's see. Let's go to my orders. Here it is. Let's copy that. Go over here. Find the link. Switch it out. Copy paste. Okay. Let's try this again. Hey, now we're talking. Okay. Let's see. We got the book here. Whoa. This is our guy. Mr. R.J. Eastwood. Yeah, this one has a part 2. The Autopsy of Planet Earth. Part 1, part 2. But there's no number 2 for Midnight Black. Interesting. So whatever happens, maybe there's a cliffhanger and there's going to be another one coming. Maybe. I don't know. Or the next 130 pages are going to be pretty much filled with, well, everything, I suspect. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? Take a sip of my tea, and then we'll dive into chapter 19. Okay. Mr. Thump, thank you very much for your lurky turkey. That must mean you're streaming right now. I'm assuming. Yep. There you be. Got him pulled up. I will also drop a lurk. Boom. Done. Alright. Chapter 19, page 169. An unexpected visitor. Although I feel like that was the last chapter. But let's see what happens, shall we? For the ride back, I'm wearing the hood, but they didn't handcuff me. I must have passed the threat test. I asked Norman to drop me off at the corner newsstand. The last thing I need is for Jules to question where I've been. When we arrive, Jason removes the hood, and I do it very nicely. Good night, Mr. Russell. Nothing much good about it, Jason. Be positive, Mr. Russell. Look on the bright side. Been trying for the past 17 years without much success. But hey, meeting you guys has given me hope. And we're in an ad break. Does anyone see the ads? We're going to go through this again. It didn't even give me the prompt that ads were coming. Nope, not yet. Super, god damn it. You're such a turd. Don't you have a puzzle to do? Don't make me a DM stunt mama. I will. Have you snoozer 3 times already? No, I've only used the snooze once. Mitchell also has jokes. It's great. I love you guys. Appreciate it. So helpful.
Hi there.
Hi there. Well, you see, this happened last time. It said ads were going, and then they, and then they didn't, and then they showed up after. So I don't really know. We love you more? Debatable. Debatable. But appreciated. Book ASMR. I turned off the music. Apparently, the ads are done. So if you actually had an ad, welcome back. Okay. Let's see. But hey, meeting you guys has given me hope. Are you being sarcastic, Mr. Russell? Yeah, Norman, I am. Good night. Sleep tight. As they pull away in their shiny black Lexus, they toss me a friendly wave like we're now best buds forever. Humor them, Billy, and wave back. What am I to make of this night's inexplicable meet and greet with Gideon, the proper Englishman, and his 2 trained Dalmatians? Wasn't Europa enough punishment for 1 lifetime? No sooner am I back on terra firma than I'm hijacked by some dissident group with the whimsical name Voltaface. They naively believe they'll save the world from a bunch of wealthy, lunatic, power-hungry, greedy autocrats. Gideon seems to think that I, the son of Amelia and Alistair Russell from Orban, Scotland, am willing to place his ass on the line to overthrow the government. I'll take more than his patriotic speech to get me to risk life and limb. And there's the question of where they got that information about me. Maybe one of them hacked into the office computer. So much for security. Whatever this Voltaface is, it has zero chance of succeeding against the evil Empire's armed forces, so it's best I stay clear of whatever they're up to. Hasn't this guy seen Star Wars? He knows how it ends, right? With any luck, I've had little to speak of. I'll never see Gideon Norman or Jason again. Ah, crap, what now? A man and a woman are walking toward me. I'm in no mood to deal with panhandlers. Not tonight. Wait, it looks like the Asian couple I met my first night here. They must recognize me because they're backing away. Sorry. Don't want any trouble, officer. Me neither. Where are you headed? Sometimes we spend nights in the alley between the clothing and grocery stores. Stay out of that alley. It's not safe. Are you two married? Yes, sir. How long have you been living out here? The old man looks at the woman like he's not sure. She answers. We ran a small tailor shop but had to close 8 months ago. You have no place to go? No family that would take you in? No, sir. I know what I want to do, but I also know it's a lousy idea. But I feel compelled to help these two. Maybe because I didn't help that kid in the alley. Look, tomorrow morning I'll be walking along Broadway around 7:30. If you're by the grocery store, I'll get you some food. Hey, Zarias, enjoy the puzzle. Your brother's been trying to hoard all the glory for himself, so have at it. The old man's eyes light up. You would do that, sir? Yes. Are either of you on drugs? No, sir. Been arrested for anything? No, sir. Okay then. If you're at the store when I pass by, I'll get you food. They're staring at me, wondering why this crazy man is offering his help. Good night, and remember what I said. That alley is not safe. Stay out of there. The old lady leans close to me, lightly touches my arm. Thank you, officer. God be with you. If God exists, lady, you two need he, she, or it more than I do. When I reach the house, there's a fastback Volkswagen Arteon parked in front, behind the same blue Honda I saw leaving the other morning. Climbing the steps to the front door, I unlock it, step inside, and switch on the light at the top of the stairs. Jules' door swings open. He's in his robe. Where have you been? I wasn't aware I needed your permission to go out after dark. I told you, it's dangerous out there. You forget I'm a cop with a gun full of real bullets. Whose cars are out front? I have company, and you've kept yours waiting. The female type showed up 10 minutes ago in that Volkswagen. What are you talking about? That lady cop, Jade, the one that stocked your fridge and located Wilson when they hauled me away. I thanked her and let her in. My heart skips a beat. My eyes shoot to the top of the stairs. Oh, hey, Jade. She's a damn good looker, that one is. Yeah. She said she might bring over some files. Didn't see any files, just a brown paper bag. Okay, Jules. Thanks. You're welcome. And stop roaming the damn streets after dark. You're okay now, right? Fine, Billy. Stop asking. Go. Don't keep the lady waiting. As soon as Jules closes his door, I ascend the stairs to a time when a disturbing thought hits me. If Jade was the one who stocked my fridge, does she know what only Wilson Chernov and now this Gideon guy know about my past? Play it cool, Billy. Don't bring it up unless she does. I find Jade draped at one end of the sofa, looking like a supermodel in a magazine ad for an expensive women's cologne. She's decked out in tan slacks that hug her long, shapely legs like a glove. A tight blue shirt hangs loosely on the top of her hips. Neatly folded next to her is a waist-length black leather coat and a small brown paper bag. She doesn't smile, just stares with those penetrating eyes. Been bowling, Billy? A little fresh air, that's all. There's no fresh air anymore. Just nitrogen gas, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides. Don't say that out loud, or everyone will want some. What are you doing here? Without thinking, I remove my hand from my pocket. Her eyes go to it. What happened to your hand? Ah, stupid me. On my way home, I tripped, fell, and scraped my hand on the sidewalk. Do you have something to put on it? Not really. Then wash it well. Okay, give me a minute. I quickly wash my swollen hand, and I'm back wondering why she's paying me this unexpected visit. So, what brings you to my lavish penthouse pad? She scans the room, her sullen expression telegraphs her disapproval. Needs work. You're being kind. Want something? All I have is water and coffee. I don't recommend the water. Reaching into the paper bag, she pulls out a bottle of bourbon. I assume the first one was good to the last drop. What did I do to deserve this generous gift, Jade? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, my friend. That's a cliché, young lady. Be quiet and pour as a drink. Yes, ma'am. Okay, what's happening here? I'm getting mixed signals. Draping my jacket on the back of a kitchen chair, I fetch a couple of glasses, join Jade on the sofa, and pour us shots. She raises her glass in a toast. To better times, Billy. And, may I add, Jade Miro, may they come sooner than later. She downs the shot in one gulp and holds out her glass. 2's my limit. 2 it is then. I pour her another. This one she sips. So, what is it that Billy Russell does for fun? Dodging garbage cans, watching drones, watching us. Entertaining stuff like that. For the first time since I met her, she laughs. Forgive me, Billy. It's your sardonic sense of humor. My life's goals was to be a sardonic stand-up comic. She smiles warmly, and I melt. We sit quietly for a couple of beats. There's a rumble going in my head about bringing up the taboo subject. Don't. You'll regret it. Hell, go ahead, get it off your chest. You know, don't you? Know what, Billy? Instantly, I regret bringing it up. Oh, nothing, forget it. Oh, come on. What is it that I know? That I once was a bullfighter in Mexico City. Her left eyebrow raises. If one can be visually spanked, I'm being spanked. One more time for the folks on the West Coast. What do I know, Billy? Now that I've opened the trap door, I have nowhere to go with this but down. Okay, put it out there and see where it lands. Where I've spent my days and nights for the past 17 years. Her brow furrows. Ah, that. Well, She blows a breath, her eyes stray to the window, pausing there for what feels like an eternity. I keep the official records, Billy, remember? Well, there's no putting that jack back in the box, so we'll move on. Now you're angry with me. No, Jade. Just curious why you didn't let me know right off. She shrugs, almost as good as the one of my practice shrugs. Besides the booze, is this the be social to the new guy week? Do you always pepper your conversation with cynicism? Come on, Miss Miro, truth or dare. What brought you here this fine evening? Were you born obtrusive, Billy, or do you have to work at it? Answer my question. She shakes her head and blows a hard breath. Okay, maybe I see a wounded warrior that needs a lifeline. Wounded warrior? That's a good one. I assure you I can take care of myself. So far, you haven't demonstrated that, Billy. If you mean that business with Gustav and Victor, it'll blow over. Those two are the last on the planet you want to be on the wrong side of. If you haven't noticed, they take their work seriously and... Work? Is that what the hell we're calling it? Oh wait, I forgot. We provide a valuable service by reducing the population. I'm just saying they don't take kindly to anyone calling them out. Is that what I did? Jesus, Billy, you're thick-headed. Be forewarned. Gustav and Victor hold special status with Chernov. One word from them, and you're gone. What makes you think I don't want to be gone? Besides, if they haven't canned me already, I don't suspect they're planning to. Don't cross them is all I'm saying, Billy. Too late. I already have. Then comes one of those pregnant pauses that drives me nuts. I wait for Jade to pick it up, but she doesn't. So it's up to me. Let's switch gears. To what? What's going on out there? She leans back, crosses those lovely legs, and takes a long, slow breath. I assume you're up to speed on the Pakistan-India debacle. Unfortunately, yes. Well, as the saying goes, we have met the enemy and he is us. For the first time since we dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Pakistan and India drove home the reality that we could wipe ourselves off the face of the planet if trigger-happy idiots got into a worldwide pissing match. What it comes down to is our survival as a species. Pakistan and India drove that reality home with a 6-inch spike. Jade, what I've seen on the streets isn't survival. It's desperation. There's no solution as long as these fascists hold the cards. Don't be so sure, Billy. An ambiguous answer at best. I'm hoping she expands on that, but she doesn't. Okay, let's go for door number 2. A dissident group called the Apostolic Channel, labeling the regime's population policies draconian, destroyed the population billboard on Boston Harbor. What exactly are the PPP's policies? It's a slash and burn, take no prisoners, purging of the old, the sick, the poor, people of color, minorities in general, and anyone else who has fallen on hard times. Wow, I'm touched by their empathy. Or lack of it, Billy. It's the age-old story. I have mine, you don't, so we get to make the rules. The only difference between what we used to be and now is how the regime openly uses brutality to enforce their rules. What about children? I haven't seen one under 10 or 12 years old. You won't either. It's 0 births until further notice. You're kidding. And my game keeps reloading, so we're gonna do that. There we go. If a woman becomes pregnant, she's forced to get an abortion. If one slips through and a woman tries to carry the baby to birth, and it's discovered, the baby becomes a ward of the state and the parents are arrested and sent off to a camp. My God. What have we become? Try Nazi Germany 1933 for size? I pour myself another shot and offer Jade one, but she declines. I still have more questions. How does it all work? How do sovereign nations interact with this world government? Nothing has changed except countries are now restricted to internal affairs only. The PPP makes the global rules. To ensure those rules are adhered to, so-called sovereign nations are overseen by one of the regime's hand-picked generals. Here, the top dog is General Albert Joseph Natali, formerly of the defunct Joint Chiefs of Staff. For the love of me, I don't understand his loyalty to Marseille, but there it is. When those shiftless bastards took over, democracy became just another 9-letter word. First came censorship of the press, then they tried shutting down social media sites other than those controlled by the government. Nice try. The public wasn't buying that crap. So Marseille settled on regulating what people could and could not post. Never make mention of government policies unless you are in praise of them. These narcissistic villains have taken ownership of an entire civilization with the sole agenda of appropriating wealth and power for themselves and their cronies. What happens to a wide swath of the world population is immaterial. Sorry to paint such a grim picture, but you asked. There's the reality. I fail to understand why people continue to put up with it. There was a time we stood up to political villains once we caught onto them. Except these bad actors took it to the next level by consolidating the world under their authority. Now they're free to rape and pillage at will. In one of our conversations, my landlord, Jules, whipped out a $20 bill to make the point money controlled our lives. How right he was. Whoever has the gold makes the rules. That will never change, Billy. What about this commissioner, Henry Dion? There was a story about him on the news. Henry Dion speaks to power, one of the few that dares. We need more like him. And they'll end up in the cell or worse, just like Dion will. Don't be so sure, Billy. You know something I don't? I never lose faith, Billy. Without it, we have nothing. And then, closer to home, is this drug kingpin, Alvira. Chernov seems obsessed with him. Where do I begin with all that ball of trouble? Alvira's a dangerous dude who controlled the flow of drugs in and out of Colombia before the police began closing in on him. That's when he fled the country and quietly re-emerged on our east coast. Hell, it was a year before the authorities knew he was here. That year, he gained control of most of the manufacture and flow of drugs throughout New England by eliminating much of the competition mafia style. No matter how hard they try, they've never caught him. As for his product, make it cheap, sell it cheap, and make it addictive. The problem is that those who don't have money to buy drugs prey on those who do, leading to a lot of petty crime and violence. How difficult can it be to find one man, Jade? They don't call him Ghost Dog for nothing. She holds out her glass. Thought you said your limit was 2. Just pour, Russell. I pour her another. She looks me in the eye, grins, and downs it in a single gulp. You know the plan to test you next time out. I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Cross your bridges carefully, Billy. I intend to. So, you know all about me, yet I know nothing about you. Where does Jade Miro fit in this out-of-focus black and white picture? Not much to tell. I'm the only child of a Hawaiian mother and a Japanese father, both deceased, mom from cancer, dad from a heart attack. So much for my genes. I graduated with a degree in psychology from Boston University and took a position with Boston PD counseling cops suffering from psychological stress. Because police work is one of the most stressful careers anyone can choose. Many burn out sooner than later. After 5 years, their anxieties and stress began to become mine, and I couldn't do it anymore. When Chernoff was putting this unit together, this job became available. Since it was still law enforcement, I applied. I interviewed with Wilson. He liked my resume and hired me. That's the short and long of it. Were you aware of what the unit did when you signed on? Oh, hell no, Billy. Otherwise I wouldn't have applied. I only knew the unit dealt with drug enforcement, and that interested me. And yet, you stayed on. Why? Were you given a choice to leave? I wasn't offered a choice on anything in over 17 years, remember? Neither was I. And neither was Hank or Rod. We're their prisoners as long as they're in power. And Gustav and Victor? Different animals altogether. So, what's the answer, Jade? What do we do? I have no idea. Punt, maybe? I want to ask if she knows anything about this movement called Voltaface. She'll want to know where I heard it, in which case I will have backed myself into a corner for a plausible answer. Shift gears. Time to get personal. You're what, Jade? 36, 37? No rings, so I assume no husband. Maybe a boyfriend is waiting at home. If you must know, I was married to a Boston cop. It didn't work out. And I'm 38, and no boyfriend waiting at home. She glances at her watch and feigns a sigh. Show and tell is over. Time to go. To feed your cat. Her head bobs back and she laughs. I don't have a cat. Let's leave it at that. Oh, one last question before I go. Shoot. Space. It had to be a mind blower. That doesn't come close to describing the incredible sights I was privileged to witness. It was a life-altering experience, but in a positive way. Another time. You'll tell me about it? Yeah, another time. She's up, slipping on her coat and moving to the door. Her hand wraps around the doorknob. She lingers for a beat before turning back. We're raised to believe in American exceptionalism, that we were better than the rest of the world. We won wars, the race to the moon and beyond. and the Pakistan-India catastrophe, now we face the biggest test of all. The very soul of all humanity is up for grabs. The day has come when each of us is called upon to do our part. From your lips to God's ear, assuming she's listening. She tosses her head back and laughs. The stuff that comes out of your mouth, Billy Russell. Okay, I have to go. Mum's the word I was here. Jade, about what happened at the warehouse. Ancient history, Billy. Put it behind you. I meant you. Are you okay? She smiles and nods reassuringly. Good night, Jade Miro. Thanks for the booze and the education. You're welcome, Buckaroo. And that is the end of chapter 19. Buckaroo. Or Buckaroos. Ooh, and you're almost done with the puzzle. I gotta say, Super, you're slacking. Would have been done by now. What's your deal? It's a good thing Zariah showed up to help you. Just saying. Better get on it. In fact, we're just gonna wait and watch. Just a few pieces. And bingo. Well done. You did it. That was actually timed really well, I won't lie. Valley Vineyards in France. My. Parlez-vous français? Well done on the puzzle. Oh, and for those of you that may have forgotten or are curious, tonight we continue reading in that Discord, in the event chat section, Stunt Mama's Discord. I'm just glad Stunt didn't come and slow us down. Ouch. Those are fighting words. We're going to be reading Fourth Wing, which looks kind of like this. Wait, that's Iron Flame. The book on the very end there. Fourth Wing, we're going to be reading that in Discord at the top of the hour. My back could only handle carrying Super through that puzzle, let alone Stun Mama. You guys are fantastic. I love you guys. So if you want to stick around to listen to a different book on a more personal level, like almost like we're in a living room, because everyone can be on camera if they want to be. You can have your mic on, all that good stuff. We'll be in Discord starting that 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Convert it to whatever time zone you're in. But either way, tonight's read has been really interesting. I think there are more people in on this, I forget what they called it. We've read the name a few times now, and I'm not going to be able to find it that quickly, but the anti-world police, basically. Apolistic or something. I can't remember it now. Anyway, I think there's more people that Billy has been talking and interacting with that are actually a part of this large group. And they're just patiently waiting for their time to strike. The question is, what are they waiting for? Like, everyone, especially Gideon, is giving us this impression that there's so many of them that they should just be able to kick butt and take names right now. So why aren't they? Why are they waiting so long? And is Billy really the missing ingredient that's going to help start their campaign and bring the world government to justice? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out next time. Hard to say. But either way, we will continue this interesting story on Sunday. I had to think about what day it was. Do you hear the people sing the song of angry men? No, I don't. Not yet anyway. But yeah, we'll continue this on Sunday. Same time, same Twitch channel. And let's see, what was the next chapter called? Chapter 20 is called An Eye-Opener. Have we not had an eye-opener already? What could possibly be more eye-opening than what has already opened our eyes? I guess you'll have to stay tuned to find out. But until then, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you.